1938. Tops grew out of a Brooklyn kitchen with penny apiece tabs of gum called change makers. Add Bazooka Joe and his motley crew, wrap it in comics, and the bubble starts to grow. In 49, Tops starts to include photo cards and side packs of gum. 1950 hits, and the first Topps cards include sports stars of the day, including Phil Rizzuto, right-hander Bob Feller, and southpaw Duke Snider. And then 1952, 1952, 1952, it exploded like bazooka bubblegum popping. A home run connecting with a bat. A light bulb went off for Americans near and far, and the modern baseball card era was born. The first annual set of baseball cards ushered in an everlasting love affair between Topps and collectors for years to come, all starting in 1952. Featuring 407 cards, the first Topps annual set proudly displayed the likes of Willie Mays, Jackie Robinson, and Bob Lemon, all in their rectangular glory. Kids clamored for wax packs near and far. 6 cards in a pack and a slab of bubblegum for a nickel. These cards are the first with team logos, simulated player autographs on the fronts, and bios and stats on the back. 1952 Topps cards set the standard for the booming industry. From baseball came entertainment. Star Wars, WWE, Garbage Pail Kids, and more. Topps has been there documenting the moments we hold dear for decades. Fast forward to 2020, and while a lot has changed, one thing remains the same. Baseball cards are thriving. From our Topps digital apps to the Topps Now cards, collectors are making their mark on an industry that's booming with the times. I mean, look at you, sitting there watching a live stream on your Topps channel as we host the world's largest rip party. Yeah, you're a part of this too. And for that, we thank you. 2020 is going to be another exciting year for card collecting, and Series 1 is here to start things off right. Collect 2020 Topps Series 1 baseball starting February 5th in your local hobby shop, Walmart, Target, and Topps.com.
There we go.
Here we go.
Here we go. I just wanted to do that. I want to thank Topps. That's actually from the Topps YouTube site. I came across that commercial and basically wanted to. I know it takes some time to get some people to come into the room already. Blake, how are you doing, buddy?
Doing great, man. Living the dream.
Living the dream. Let me real quick say hello to a couple people that have come in here. Schreiker 20, thanks for stopping. Kyle T sent you. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. Are you using StreamYard, Blake?
Yes.
Yeah. You see the new features with some of the banners now? You can change how.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, they look.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah. Junebug, thanks for stopping. Mary Ness, thank you for stopping. Carol Ann, thank you. Because I want to say hi to a couple people because without them, we want to have a show here.
That's
Jeff,
right.
Tom, Casual Flipper, Steve, thank you. Sharon, flipping it good. If I've missed anybody, I apologize. We have Blake here for an hour, so we have about 56 minutes left. So how you been? I appreciate your sister actually had reached out to me and said, hey, we're doing another new project with Blake. Would you want to? I'm like, of course I'd like to have him on the show. Let me, with our schedules, let's work something out. I'm sure we'll have him on. So thank you for coming back.
Of course. I'm excited, man. Project 2020 and 2020 as a year was quite the adventure. And now we're turning a new page. I'm really excited for 2021.
All right. It looks like you're in a new. It looks like you have a new background or something.
Mm-hmm.
What's that?
Yeah, moved to a new studio here in Brooklyn, New York, from Queens, and so moved in the month of November. And fortunately, I have a team of awesome hustlers that are willing to do whatever it takes. So we got the studio moved and reset up pretty quickly, which was important because I had to produce all of my 1951 paintings, which was 52 paintings, within the month of December. So that was an intense month, and I had to be completely set up. So we're rocking and rolling in the new space.
Right. Now, is this going to be more of a permanent home for you?
Yeah, I mean, we signed a 1-year lease, and the difference is this is a live workspace. So this is the studio room. It's a tiny bit smaller than my old studio, but not by much. But the difference is right on the other side of that wall is my bedroom. On the other side of that's Andy's bedroom. On the other side of that's an office, kitchen, so on forth. So like before we were commuting to the studio and having a separate apartment where we lived. Now we can roll out of bed and, walk down the hall and we're already at work, which is fantastic for a bunch of reasons. Commute time, cost, saving money on Ubers.
Right.
So it's been great. It's been really
the only downside of that is work never leaves.
I agree with that in some sense, but the good thing is like I love what I do so much that I live, breathe, and eat painting anyway. So
I get you.
I'd be working in my studio till 2, 3 in the morning sometimes, and at my old space, and then it might not even be worth taking an Uber home, and I would just like crash on a futon, and this way I'm able to get good sleep and more sleep because I don't have to worry about commute time.
Well, I had heard you on I was lurking on one of your lives one day. You were talking about trying to get your schedule more normal to where you were going to bed at certain times to get up because to do what you got to do.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to make some changes this year. I think we worked really hard last year, and I'm really proud of what we did. I think I learned a lot, and so going into this year and approaching my future Tops projects and just my kind of daily work practice, I'm trying to build some new habits, and one of them is getting up early, and so that's contradictory to the late streams that I do, but we're trying to work around that.
In case anybody is new here, I'm Pat Dees. I appreciate you guys would subscribe to my channel and Blake's channel. It's in the description. I've had Blake on the show before. Blake works with Tops. Blake, why don't you explain a little? Well, we have some new things that are happening in 2021, but for the people that didn't watch the previous episode, why don't you give a brief description on who you are and basically what happened in 2020 that I invited you on to talk about cards and being an artist working with Tops.
Yeah, of course. So I have been a full-time artist for 6 years now, and I'd spent the last about 2.5 years focusing on painting portraits of professional athletes. And in 2020, Tops decided to try something new for a set and collaborate with 20 different artists, each of which they were assigning 20 iconic Tops baseball cards and had us recreate them. And so that project called Tops Project 2020 really took on a life of its own. I think the reach, both in like the volume of like in the print runs and the different big media outlets that were talking about it. I think it was kind of the perfect storm with COVID keeping sports from happening live. Project 2020 was something that fans could turn to that was sports related. And so I think we got kind of a bump from that. And so that's what introduced me to Pat Dees, as well as amazing, tons of amazing people within the hobby community. Has been so much fun. And so after that set was a success, Tops invited me and other artists as well to kind of come back for future collaborations. And one of those is a current set, the 1951 Tops set, which I reimagined. And the other one is called Project 70. And that is a group set where, similar to Project 2020, we're going to see a lot of different artists creating a lot of new baseball cards, which is going to be really, really fun to see.
Right. Now got a little bit of echo there. Okay, we're fine.
Cool.
Yeah, we're fine. I heard myself. I don't know why I did that. But anyways, when you were doing the part of the 20 artists who were part of the Tops Project 2020, and you did that throughout the year. Now, I noticed towards the end, they started, instead of doing 2 cards, they were doing 3 cards at a time.
Yep.
Now, with you doing this, why don't you talk about what the 51 project is basically, that you are only doing yourself, and explain to the audience how that's going to work, and maybe you could show a little bit of some of the stuff that you're doing with it.
Yeah, of course. So 1951 was the very first year that Tops had a license to create and sell Major League Baseball. Sorry.
All right.
Stop now. Sell Major League Baseball cards. So they released a set in 1951 that kind of looked like playing cards. So this is one of them. I bought an actual original from eBay because I just wanted to see this for reference. And so there were some different variations where they had like blue-backed variations, was like a short print. The cards had rounded corners. And so now in 2021, it's been 70 years since Topps started. It's kind of an anniversary year for them. So they're doing all kinds of different projects that are celebrating kind of how far they've come in the last 70 years. And so we thought a fun way to kick it off was reimagining that very first set. And so I made a brand new set of 52 cards. Some of them are original, players from that original set. A lot of them are modern players. So for example, this is the Juan Soto portrait that I did. And you see here on these cards, we have the kind of diamond shape with the portrait in the middle. So I did something similar. I painted these with spray paint on, it's a wood panel. And I have 52 of them. It was a very busy, very busy December, but it was a fun challenge because I've never had to paint that quantity of paintings in a single month. And so I needed to kind of change my systems and artistic process to be able to take works through start to finish kind of in batches. So I was doing them 10 at a time, painting 10 at once.
Now, was Topps, who picked the players to be in this set? How did that process work?
Topps gave me a list. They had made an error and they had one player listed on the list twice. And I pointed that out to them and I had a suggestion for someone to add to fill that spot. Someone that I felt, actually now is really, really relevant. So it was Hank Aaron. He was not in the set originally, and they had a double, and I said I'd really like to do a Hank piece. And that's actually that hasn't been released. I think he's in wave 3 that's coming out tomorrow. But yeah, it was Topps choosing the subjects on that. Now the Project 70, that's a completely different beast where they're giving us full range and say we get to pick all of our players, and then we also get to pick design inspiration from Topps cards from the last 70 years. So any flagship set, we can kind of pull inspiration from and create a new, for example, like a 1959 inspired card of a current Phillies player. That is my first card. So that's
cool.
Yeah, it's gonna be really cool.
Now, I wanted to show everybody. I went over to Topps.com in case anybody's interested in buying this for. If you got a son that plays baseball or someone that collects cards, there's it's a big hobby that people enjoy. This is on it's pinned at the top. I'm not making no money from this. I'm just doing this as a thank you for Blake coming on the show. You can go up there and order, but you can only order for a week, right?
Yeah. So that one, you see it has 16 hours left. So that one, every Wednesday at noon Eastern, a new set drops and the old one expires. And so there's 4 waves in total. This is the second wave. And so it's also just like Project 2020. Once that wave is sold out, then Topps goes back and publishes what the print run was. So we know how many exist of wave 1.
Right.
And so it's really fun. And also another really cool thing I think that Topps did this time is, you get all 13 cards in the wave for $20 versus
that's a good
single card for $20. It really is, magnitudes cheaper. So that's fantastic. And I think that was reflected. We saw wave 1 did pretty well. I think 75 or 7,600.
Yeah, I saw that. It was slightly under 8,000.
Yeah.
And honestly, probably people didn't even know about it because maybe the numbers will go up and then you'll have people chasing in the reseller market trying to buy the first wave to complete the set.
Right. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see. I have no idea. With the first one, I was communicating with Topps and I wanted to know what the print run was at. So I had an idea of what it was going to be. This one, I have not talked to them since it launched. I have no idea if could be 10,000, it could be 1,000, and I wouldn't, I would have no idea.
Now, is this the box that they come in?
Exactly. Yeah. And so that's also modeled after the original 51 box, except I painted a self-portrait, which I thought was fun.
I like that.
Yeah, and that picture is also on they have an artist card within each of the waves. It's a 1-in-1. It's numbered to 100, I think, per wave.
Wow.
And those are fun. I mean, that's my own baseball card that's on a Topps card, which is rad.
I know, that's cool. So there's only that's why I was going to ask you. There's only 100 of your card.
So there's 100 coming out for each wave, and they're each going to have different color variation. So there'll be 400 total cards in existence of me.
Yeah.
4 different designs, 100 of each, numbered to 100.
Yeah. That would be cool. I had asked you too back when you were on the show before about a T-shirt. That would kind of be cool because when you do the shirts, a lot of times you got to keep them at 4 or 5 colors. That would be cool on a shirt because you have like the back color, the skin color, the black, and the red. That would actually do something. And maybe in the future you could do something with that. But I wanted to show people briefly what it was. This is the set that this is the second. When he says wave, meaning it comes out for that week 2, and that's it. So you can see the countdown at 16 hours. Let's pull up a couple of the cards.
Yeah.
So these are people that even if you got kids today, they'll know who some of these players are because there's like the Ken Griffey Jr. Obviously, you know who that is.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, also today, I think for everybody that's watching, I'm down to give away one of the boxes of Wave 2. I think maybe we just give it a week in comments, have people comment down below, and I'll go in and pick a random winner.
Cool.
Yeah.
So that'd be great. What he's saying is afterwards, comment on this video, and then about a week from now, approximately, we'll do something, and Blake will send you guys a one of the waves of one of the weeks of the set. So you'll get one of the boxes that Blake is going to donate to one of our viewers. But the only thing I want you guys to do is just comment on below, and afterwards just say, hey, I saw the show, whatever, and we'll have it rammed. We'll use a computer so that it's fair, and he'll give it away, and it'll be something that you can say that you won from Pat D's. Actually. The last show that we did, we had done something, and we had hit 500 views. Kevin Kelly from California won the Ted Williams card. Oh, speaking of cards, that reminds me. I got a package in today.
Nice.
This was the last card that I purchased. That was your card.
Nice.
This was part of the Project Tops 2020. Bob Gibson.
Yeah, I really like that one. I think it's fun to see how the art evolved from the Nolan Ryan through to Bob Gibson, and now crossing over into the 1951. I think that Bob Gibson, the style of that portrait is extremely similar to the style of the 51 portraits that I did.
That's Wade Bogg right there. I have a question from Joe, Flippin' Flamingos 2. He is a friend of mine. He's a police officer down in Florida. And,
thank you for your service.
Yeah, so he's watching the show, and he does online auctions. And actually, Joe, I just wanted to let you know I did get my lunchbox in today. Thank you. And he wants to know, will you ever sell the original paintings?
Probably not, but it's not completely out of the question. But I do think if I was going to let go of an original painting, it would be more expensive than a random original painting that's that size that I do. One that was used for a card, I think, would carry a little special sentimental value.
Mr. Sadie, send me I'm going to put my email there. Send me that eBay and item, and I may be able to identify. If not, I will basically send a message. Blake is really on social. You're on Instagram, right?
Mm-hmm. Instagram is Athlete Portraits.
Right.
And on Twitter to Blake Jamieson.
Okay. Mm-hmm. And in the description below, he has. All right, he's putting the eBay number there. Mm-hmm. I'm going to put you on the spot. Maybe you don't know this, but I don't know what it is either. But let me see if
I take a look.
I could find it. eBay item number. I don't know if we can. Hold on. Can you type in the number and then search that way? 65374.
I'm gonna tweet out the link to this video.
Oh, is it a Kobe Bryant? Is that it? Yeah, that's it. Okay, so there we go. Hold on, let me share the screen.
Are you on Twitter?
Yes. Yep.
What's your handle? I'm just tweeting out this video right now.
Pat D72. That used to be my original channel name here. I added the 72 because I wanted to control the web address. But the problem is sometimes people were like, is it Pat D 68, 72, 75? Yeah. And I like the idea of 72 because I always one day wanted to do a shirt that would say 72 on the back, like a ball player. And I always had, you may not hit a home run every time, but at least show up the bat. And I always would use that as part of my videos. But I found it a little bit too confusing. So I just, like David Letterman, stuck with my name, Pat D's. So I guess this is the item that he's asking about. A rare Topps job form plate reprint, unprinted Kobe Bryant. Basically what it looks like is a sheet that got rolled out, made at Topps, but never got finished.
Right.
You see there, because in the white part, the numbers.
Yeah. Yeah, it didn't get the final printing layer.
Yeah, it didn't get the final.
It's interesting.
But basically what it is in my opinion, it's an employee that worked at the place that got that hold of that sheet, and it didn't go through the second process to what goes in that white spot. So it's an uncut sheet. Yeah, it's called an printing. It's an uncut sheet that when they manufacture, a lot of times back in the day, some of these places now, when they make them, you can't be taking those sheets because there's security that's involved because of the value of the cards nowadays. They can't be having employees taking cards. So, hey, I've seen a couple more people come in. I just want to acknowledge real quick.
Sweet.
Borderline Hoarderist, Kimmy, thank you. Joe, Mookie Pookie, I know some of these names. John Jones, thank you for stopping. I appreciate. Kyle Hayers, Diamond West. Casual Flippers, I think she's into cards too. You'd be surprised how many women are even into cards. Because, they do it with their kids and, things like that. So they really get into cards. How do you feel overall about the 2020 project? Were you happy with the results?
Yeah, it was well beyond my wildest dreams. I think it was insane. It was a crazy year for the world, but for my business, it was just we had to deal with new issues and solve new problems that we'd never have to deal with before, in terms of like a business growing really fast. Shipping, logistics, and customer management was awesome. It was such a fun year to tackle all those challenges with some of my closest friends and family.
I want to say that real quickly. You took a breath there a second. Boy, you are lucky because you have a lot of family that supports you. I've seen you in the chat. I like a lot of times when I run an Amazon eBay business, and I see your dad in the chat a lot of times. Very supportive there. He's watching you on the show. It's fun because it's what I do on YouTube and as a reseller. I can't get family interested in watching me because, obviously you're different because you're an artist and going out now to the world where people can see your drawings and your artwork is just amazing. But I want to say how great it is to have the family that's supporting you. It was your sister actually that reached out to me last week and said, hey, would you want to have Blake come back? I'm like, yeah, without a doubt.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm extremely lucky. You're right. I've hit the lottery. Yeah.
Now I don't know if you can how much you could talk about the Project 70. What is that exactly?
Yeah. So like I mentioned before, it has some similarities to Project 2020 in that it is a curated group of artists from Topps, the Topps brought in, and a lot of returning artists from Project 2020, almost all of them. I believe it's 18 of the 20 are coming back. And then they're adding some other artists on top of that.
Did I see Snoop Dogg in that?
Yeah. So Topps hasn't put out an official list. I know that a list leaked. As far as I know, I think that Snoop Dogg is involved. But I do know that the list that circulated for a while wasn't entirely accurate. But that is one good example and a big name that I'm very excited about.
Yeah.
DJ Ski. Also, he's really into baseball cards. And so he had done a show. He kind of partnered with Topps and did a show about Project 2020 and interviewed a lot of us artists. And he's participating this year, which is going to be fun. Lauren Taylor, who is an artist, Canadian artist that is amazing. Actually, I think she's American, living in Canada, but she's fantastic. She's been on my show a couple times. Gregory Siff is back. I love his work. His girlfriend, Brittany Palmer, she's an amazing portrait artist as well. She's involved. It's going to be crazy. And the difference is, one of the major differences, and from my perspective, is we get to choose our own subject list, and they give us a list of all current players as well as all former players who they have the rights with. So there's a few people like Mickey Mantle that Topps can't touch because that somebody else owns the image, the likeness to him.
Okay, yeah.
But outside of a couple like fringe cases, we have everyone in the history of baseball at our disposal. And then the next step is then we choose which images we're going to use of the players. And once again, Topps is giving us total freedom to find reference images on Getty images, and then we basically let them know which images we want to use. They make sure to acquire the licensing for that. And yeah, that's it. So as far as everything that I've done with Topps in the past, there's always been some type of box, some type of rules that I have to follow. Now they've really kind of gotten rid of all the rules.
Okay, real quick, there's a question here. Do you see that from Kyle Elliott? And maybe that will address a little bit about.
Oh, let's see. Oh, okay, got it. Does Topps make us sign a non-compete? No, I don't have a non-compete. However, I think that Topps wouldn't be happy if I went and worked with Panini.
Right, of course.
They're competitors. But there's nothing to say that I legally can't. But if I went and did that, Topps has already given me 2 more projects after Project 2020. Wow. If that, because of 1951 is one of them, and then Project 70 is another, those are really good for my business. And so if I were to do anything that doesn't make Topps happy, regardless of if legally I can do it, if they stop offering me these jobs, future sets, then that could hurt my business a lot. So I haven't really thought about, considered doing anything that's going to jeopardize the relationship.
Right. And if they're treating you good and your loyalty is to them, why not keep expanding on that?
Exactly.
Right. Now, the Topps Project 70, I'm kind of confused a little bit. The 70, what's that mean exactly?
So it's the 70th anniversary of Topps having the MLB license.
Oh, okay. So how many cards? I think there was a little confusion.
That hasn't been officially announced yet, and I actually don't know. All I know is that we each are doing 20 cards like last time. And so we know that, it's bigger than 400 because that was what Project 2020 was, and there's more artists. So I don't know the final count of how many artists they got involved. And so I'm not sure exactly how many cards it's going to be. It's going to be a lot, I think we're going to see a lot of collectors not collecting full sets because it's just going to be out. A lot of people are priced out and spaced out. Like the cards are big, that takes up space. So I think we'll get a lot of people that are chasing certain artists or chasing certain players or chasing certain teams. And that would be a really fun way to collect it. Say, I'm just going to get all the Phillies cards.
Right.
And that would probably end up being a really cool looking set,
Right. Like with you guys, like every artist, maybe they liked Mark McGwire. And I know that you like Mark McGwire, and I'm a fan of Mark McGwire. So what they did is they bought a Mark McGwire card, one from each artist. So they had a card from each artist, and they had Mark McGwire covered. A lot of them, I saw somebody. I mean, people as far as business aspect, and I talk a little bit about this being a reseller, is they made frames. And people were making those $300-$400 frames to display the cards. Mm-hmm. I was trying my damnedest to get one of those AP cards, and I finally did get one.
Nice.
But they were selling it out in 5 minutes. This was the card I actually picked up.
Oh, nice. Nolan Ryan by Don C.
Yeah.
Cool.
I was trying to actually trade it on the Topps Project Facebook looking for a McGwire, but it didn't happen. But this card was $300.
Yeah.
And that was right from, that's the heavy silver frame set. But, it's a nice to talk about, and I'm going to be doing a special video on that also. Now, let me ask you, the Topps, I noticed you always seem to be under a time crunch with the Project 2020, meaning like a lot of times it was like the week before, right?
It was.
Yeah, how is that with going to work with the Project 70?
So we have, similar to Project 2020, Topps will assign us 3 cards at one time, and they give us due dates for each of those.
Okay.
So roughly every 2 weeks, a card is due. And that's how it worked in Project 2020. And at first, I mean, Topps really just needed the card 1 or 2 days before the card went live. Then as it really, I think it started to really take off, and MLB decided they should really take it seriously. So MLB actually is the ones that kind of started cracking down on approving the artwork and being a little bit more picky about what they would let go, pass or whatever. So there might have been some more back and forth with the artist. So then Topps started wanting the cards a little farther in advance. For this one, they're getting cards 2 weeks in advance before the launch date. And actually more than that probably, because my first card is due on the 1st of February, and I don't know the exact launch date. I think it's I know that it's winter 2020. I think it's in February, but I don't know that for sure.
Right.
So I think that for me now, and this is also kind of goes back to like the learning from the process and the business expanding, is like I did get caught up a lot in a lot of other parts of the business last year where we'd have to finish autos and be shipping stuff out the door or finishing a commission or this and that. Like a lot of things pulled my attention away from the art for Topps. And one of the things that I would like to do this year is make that a higher priority and spend more time on each card that I design and have them done ahead of time so that I'm not rushed, for the creation process this time around.
Right. My favorite card, and I told you before the show, was the Roberto Clemente.
Mm-hmm.
And it was hard to pick which card, but just the color and the way that it looked and stood out, that was my favorite card that you had done. It was funny to watch every day. I mean, it was, you'd get up in the morning and you're like, what was the card's going to be? Sometimes you saw a little bit. People would release it like overnight on a Facebook site, like at 2:00 in the morning. So
yep.
you would get a little cheat to kind of see, what was going on.
Yep.
Are you that close to the road that I heard the sound like?
Oh yeah, we're right on a busy corner, man. It's been really quiet the whole time we've talked, but sometimes it gets loud here.
Yeah. Oh, that's okay. Now let me ask you. One of the things that they're doing too is the Topps Project 2020. They started doing some prints.
Mm-hmm.
Are they still doing that? And is it select prints?
Yeah. So the way that they did it is we didn't when Project 2020 first launched, we didn't know that prints were going to happen. Topps didn't know, we didn't know. So they made an addendum to our artist contract halfway through the project, saying we're gonna sell the prints, and we all negotiated our kind of royalties on those. Then they sent us each artist like 5 or 6 prints to sign. What was it, 120 of them, and of each print, because it was 100 regular and then 20 APs. And then we sent those back to Topps, and then Topps framed those, framed and numbered them in really nice hardware. I think the quality is not well represented online, like how nice they actually look. And I know that as a professional artist, like really quality framing is not cheap, and it's not easy. So I think they did a really good job, but because of it, the price point that they launched with was, not moving as many units as they would want. And so then they made a slight tweak, and instead of offering the APs separately for $1,000 each, they just took those and they put them in as like chase items in the regular prints, which are $400. Right. So now people can spend $400 and then potentially get a print that would have been $1,000. I think, and this is just speculation, but I think that Topps wants to be able to hit a more affordable price point on the prints. And so going forward, after like the 6 prints that I've already signed and have been released, I think that the rest are going to be sold unframed and unsigned. But as far as I know, I do think they are going to do prints of the whole set, which I think is really cool.
I realize how framing I had something years ago. I used to own Pixar stock, and I took something to Michael's, and it was like $200 to frame that.
Oh,
so
yeah.
The frame itself in the matting was $200. So I guess, I don't know. It's hard to tell somebody what something is worth.
Yep.
Probably if they probably had something around $199. Now that may have been something, in other words, not framed, just rolled up in a protective tube. That
Yep.
Limit to 1 to 100. They probably would have sold out of those at $199. Because then you could put it on yourself to decide. One thing you go to Michael's, the frames are all you could spend 100, you could spend 600. Based on gold frame, the quality of the wood, what kind of wood it is, and then you let people make their own decision as far as that. I was interested, but I was just looking for the one card that I want, and I just didn't see it as part of the project that they did. Now, are you? I had talked to you before in the past, and I know obviously I don't want to be pushy and invade your studio space, but I'd like to come and check it out maybe one day. Maybe you don't have an open public place, but are you planning in the future to do something that it would kind of, I always said it would kind of be cool to maybe get a bunch of you artists together. And I know you did some, was it with Gregory at the Top Store? Was it during the summer?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, I'm open for that. If we can get through this winter here in New York and hopefully kind of get over the hump with the COVID stuff as the vaccine rolls out, I would love to start doing events like that. One really cool thing about this building is we're on the second floor, and on the first floor below us is this gorgeous corner retail space that's all glass walls, and it would make an amazing like gallery or card store or something like that. It's a moonshot, but that's something that Andy and I are kind of dreaming about, having something like that and being able to have a destination.
Oh, thanks, Brian. Mr. Buys a Lot. He I know. Now here's a guy that buys a lot of stuff. He's based in Allentown, Pennsylvania. He has over 1 million cards.
Wow.
And, yeah, he does. He goes and buys online auctions and does all kinds of things. And I've met him personally with the cards. So I'm not just bringing Blake on. I mean, I love the collecting cards and just the relaxation of just sitting around. Back in the day when cards were 50 cents, it was a big deal. And now you can't even find cards. Try to go and find cards unless you go to a specialized hobby shop. Oh, wow. Now here's a comment. Mr. Shake, Blake's Card Shop would be so cool. I love to see a gallery for card artists. I know. That's what I was thinking.
Yeah, it'd be awesome. Card shop and art gallery mixed in one.
Yeah. The only problem is when people don't realize how busy you are, and when you make a commitment to a retail location, you always maybe you could just do special events where you're only open 6 days a month, that people would come, because sometimes when you make such a huge commitment and then you got to rely on employees, it's tough. I get it. It'd be cool if Topps and MLB would pay maybe some of you guys to imagine like doing a special event at the stadium where you create a card and everybody that day gets a Blake Jamieson. In other words, they pick a player, and then they do that a lot of times with T-shirts, like the first 2,000 people, and then you would maybe do like a meet and greet where people could have their picture taken with you, maybe bring their card, and do things like. I mean, I'm not sure if that's what you want to do, because sometimes that takes talking to people. But I saw you. That was another thing. I saw you do something amazing this summer with the kids. Why don't you expand on what that was?
Yeah, so that was so in partnership with Peter Stuyvesant Little League and Food for the Frontline. They basically put on this summer camp for kids, and they did a ton of different activities. And the money that they raised through the summer camp, basically, or specifically through this event, went to buy meals for frontline workers. So it's kind of it was a win-win for everybody. It was right in the Lower East Side, close to where I lived in Manhattan, and it was fun. We took out a bunch of baseball cards. That was with Brian and OMG Card Pulls, and so he got some card stores to donate a bunch of cards, an art store to donate a bunch of art supplies, and then I donated my time and went and basically painted with the kids. And we painted both on paper and then also on cards, kind of customizing cards as well, which is a lot of fun.
Yeah, I saw that with the kids and stuff, and I thought that's nice because not everybody, busy or they kind of they forget, and those the art is sometimes being lost in school, I think, and it's being kind of shoved aside that it's not important, and I think you show that it is important, and that it can be. There's a future in being an artist.
Mm-hmm.
I wish I had to. I still one day want to, but people don't realize how much time it takes. All the stuff that you're doing now, what kind of art would you say that like there's some people that do watercolorings. Do you have a name or basically what you're?
Yeah, so most of the artwork I create is spray paint and hand cut stencils, and so that's kind of a specific style. It's probably most used in like street art and graffiti. But there's a handful of stencil artists like myself that primarily work on canvas in the studio. And then in terms of like the genre that I fall into, I would definitely say like pop art is what I consider it. But, art world's crazy. People have different names for everything. If people can call it whatever they want it.
Right.
Yeah.
I see you still. Are you still doing the lives where you're actually doing paintings?
Sometimes. I haven't too recently, and part of that was because the whole month of December was painting 1951, which I couldn't talk about or show.
Right.
So I actually that's when I kind of cut back my streaming quite a bit. I'm mixed feelings about whether I'm going to live stream any of the stuff for Topps Project 70 because I want to get it out done early ahead of time, so I'm looking at like a month or 6 weeks maybe out of when a card launches to when I'm painting it. I don't know that I want people knowing what the card's going to look like for that long. Like I don't mind if I tease it out a little, a couple, like a week or a few days before it comes out, if people know what it looks like. But I think if people sit with it for 6 weeks in their mind, I think that would be bad for like people getting excited and like, talking about it online the day of it launching and promoting other people.
Right. I think it would be neat. Maybe record it and do a hyperlapse, and the day that the card gets released that week, maybe release the video of the process of making that card. But, in other words, it might take you, let's say 12 hours to do it and do like a 3-4 minute hyperlapse of, of the whole process of doing it. And because I don't think people realize the time that goes into it. What you do. Now, are you doing anything right now outside of baseball related?
I have some prints that I did. I did 3 original paintings. It's partially baseball. So I did Nolan Ryan, Bo Jackson, and Magic Johnson. And those 3 paintings are becoming this limited series of prints, which are actually going to be signed by Nolan and Bo and Magic, which is going to be really cool. So for that, I'm partnering with Pristine Auction. And they do quite a bit of art stuff, and also in the hobby space, they do a lot of, they work with, I think it's Beckett's preferred like auction house.
Okay.
So it's going to be fun. And that's like separate from the Topps project. Like I said, it still has some baseball involved. That's been in the works since November or something of last year. We've been kind of, that's been slowly coming together. Outside of that, I haven't really been focused on other stuff, like specific projects. What I have been focused on this year is like learning new things and trying new materials, new methods of creating art. So like some example is I just got an Oculus, headset and a tilt brush so I can like do the virtual reality painting. I love to, kind of get into that space. Yeah, it's trippy. It's called Tilt Brush, and people wear a headset, and then you have these 2 little, I don't know, they're right there, but you have the 2 little hand things, and it's like one of them is like your palette, and you can grab your paint, and then you paint, and it's like you're painting in 3 dimensions. So that's weird and awesome. Another thing is like silk screening, which is a similar process to stenciling like I do, but different. And Andy and I are playing with that. The pink things back here are big silk screens that we had made. Now,
who is, I don't mean to be rude, but who you referenced Andy a couple times.
Yeah.
Who's Andy?
So Andy is an employee and a friend of mine. He does all my accounting, and he's also an artist. And we met before Project 2020. We'd been friends for a few years, and he would come over and paint at my studio. And now we live together at this studio.
Okay.
So he's my employee, friend, roommate, artist.
Oh, okay. Is that the guy I saw walking around there?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I just want to make sure I got because I know that you've had different employees and who's doing what and stuff. It seemed like you guys had a lot of success with the artist autograph cards too. That you guys were getting a lot of those. Hey, Mary Beth, thank you for stopping. I appreciate it. How was that going?
I'm sorry. Say that one more time.
I noticed a lot of the artists really were branching out and doing different things. Like you guys were doing the autograph cards. People were doing companion cards. One thing you didn't do no companion cards, but you did the artist cards, right?
I did the autographed cards. Did not do companions. And at this point, I don't think I will. I talked about potentially doing a set now of all 20 companion cards and selling them as a set. But I think there's so much going on this year. I just don't think it's necessary. And right. 2020 is just, it was good. We can move on and do new stuff.
Do you know how hard it was to find this?
I have a couple copies.
Oh my God. I had to go on eBay and overpay a little bit for it, but I wanted it. And I actually found there was another, I don't have it right here next to me, but there's another magazine that they did with a white cover that has a little bit more gloss and a feature on, I think it was Chris with CRT cards. And they have a lot in, stories that they did in there.
Yeah, Chris Torres, he got a great feature.
Yeah, he did. Well, I'll tell you, there's a guy that was really on top of it every day. As far as the PR runs and everything. Some of the cards, it's amazing in the beginning how expensive. Like they're going for good money on eBay. So anybody watching this who is part of my reselling community don't realize there's money to be made on these cards. That if you're interested in buying some and being a reseller, if you see them. Now, do you have? Let me ask you, and I hate to put you on the spot about it, Blake. Do you have a favorite card that you did on Projects 2020?
Yeah, I would say my favorite's my Mark McGuire, and that's I love that card. I think a lot of that is because and you think about, and this happens in sports cards as well as in art, is like different things mean different things to different people. So Mark McGuire to me was my childhood hero, and so doing his card and then everything that led to, like Mark and I are now friends and talk,
Isn't that cool?
Not often, but sometimes, and like that's a trip. So that card just means all of that experience to me. So that's why it's my favorite. I think if I'm just looking at like graphic like art,
I'm going to do a video, but I got to tell everyone this is my favorite Blake card.
Yeah, I like that one too.
I just love the coloring. The king symbol is tied with Blake, and I know that. And just the coloring and just the you did a great job with that card. I mean, all the cards have their own. I mean, look at this one over here with the
that's Keith Shore. That's
Keith. Yeah, he had some different looking cards. There was just some that, I mean, the project's beautiful. I can't afford every card, but I mean, this card has to be. This was funny because the
mask.
20 that has to be the 2020 card because you have to own that card. I did pick up a Ricky Henderson card.
Nice.
It took a little while, and I had to be a little bit patient, but because in the beginning that card was selling for a couple $100.
Yeah.
I picked up two of them for around $30-$40 a piece.
That's great.
Yeah, I got about 200 of the set, and I'm happy with that. And I am buying into the 51 set that you're creating. What I like about it is my youngest son, we go to I live here in Pennsylvania, and we go to the farm team of the Phillies down in Allentown. They're called were they the pigs or something? I don't know. I forget. Can't thinking about it, but we just Iron City Pigs. That's what it is. We go there and we sit at the stadium. We relax. We watch the ball game. And he goes to me, Dad, did you get? I said, oh, I don't have any money until Friday. He goes, did you get the project? Did you get the 51 yet? He goes, I already ordered mine. So nice. He's into it too, and that's what I like because in many ways it's kind of brought us together. Sit and relax and look at the. And for Christmas, I even got him a couple. I surprised him and got a couple different cards. Nice. Okay, here's. I don't know if you recognize Jeff. I got the one autographed by Mark and Blake.
Yeah, so I did a very limited run that was dual autographs with Mark McGuire. So that's really cool. I just we didn't do many of those. Just a few. There were a few cards and a few Beckett's. So that is awesome. And Jeff, I really appreciate the support. It's amazing. I definitely think now that Mark and I are close, doing some more dual autos with him on future cards. Like for since Project 70 we get to pick our own players. I'm obviously picking Mark McGuire. That's no secret.
Yeah, he has to be one.
So he'll be in that set. So that's exciting.
Right. He's my as modern era. Like honestly, I wish, boy, if you know anything about sports and could talk about baseball cards, I mean, you could really. I mean, if you want to be in the hobby of buying, investing, and selling cards, if you know some of the, like honestly, I didn't really know until the last 2 years who Mike Trout was, because I didn't pay attention to much the last 5. I mean, I'd see Derek Jeter on the news, or like in basketball, Shaquille O'Neal. But right. when I don't forget, when I was growing up, there was no YouTube, there was no. I mean, we had dial-up AOL. So when Mark McGuire and Sammy Sosa was on the news about hitting the 70 home runs, and they were going to see who. I mean, it really drove the mania. I remember watching the Home Shop Network where they were selling those 85 cards for like 70. People were buying like 10, 20 at a time.
Mm-hmm.
I think a lot of people,
that was great for baseball.
Right.
That was really good for baseball.
Wow. Jeff has all the Project 2020 cards.
Nice. That's awesome, Jeff.
You know what some people did, and they were smart. They bought extra, sold off the ones, made a couple, and basically paid for their set by doing that.
Yep.
I wish.
How at the end they started doing each artist was given one card that had a foil. So 1 in 20 was the refractor.
Oh yeah.
So that was really cool. I did mine on my Bob Gibson, and they look gorgeous.
Oh yeah.
I'll grab one real quick. I think I have it right here. Let's see.
Hey guys, I appreciate everybody coming by. Blake is actually going to give out once a week's worth of the what to be qualified to win that set. You just got to comment below. In about 7 to 10 days, I'll pull up this video while I'm doing a live, and we'll pull. And Blake's going to actually send that out. So I appreciate his generosity in wanting to give my channel something. We gave out something last time, and he graciously is donating for that. So he's going to show his Bob. These cards are
so these ones, and let's see it. Man, I don't know if it's really hard to do it justice with this light, but it is refractory.
Yeah.
Maybe it's because of the team bag. Let's see if I take it out. I feel like we're really not it's not doing it justice. That shows it a little bit more, but
right.
They came out really cool. And so anyways, just this reminded me when you said like, oh, people could sell off their extras to pay for their set. Well, with all the ones, I was doing some research, and every card that had a foil, it's 1 in every 20. Now you're not guaranteed to get it, but if you bought 20 of each of those cards and then got one foil like you were supposed to, and then sold that foil, those other 19 cards would basically be paid for free.
Right.
The economics on these worked really well for people flipping them.
Bolta Leon has a question. Do you struggle with inspiration? Do you see something in your head and put it on canvas, or you start with a blank canvas and figure it out as you go?
Great question. I battle with creative blocks in different ways over my art career. It's usually not trying to think about what I need to paint. That's usually kind of well set out for me, and that's partially by the way that I've built my business, in that most of the work that I'm doing is commissioned ahead of time, or like with Topps with this licensing deal, like it's essentially the same as a commission. So like I'm kind of already given my subject list. And so that part isn't tough creatively. It can just be hard having a concept in my head for that subject and then making that happen on canvas. So sometimes I think it's just a matter of just spending enough time in the studio. Even if I don't know what I'm going to paint, like I still need to be sitting in this room rather than in my bedroom or in a different part of the house. That helps with creativity, personally.
Hey,
Krista.
Let me tell you, these are beautiful in person.
Yeah.
So I don't recognize some of these names, so they must have basically been following your Twitter feed and they come by. So I appreciate that.
Krista's an OG.
Yeah, so
Awesome.
Thank you for stopping by. Jose.
What's up, Jose?
And Alabama Pickers is a friend. He's making, you know why? Because I have this red shirt. It's blending in with my orange. I thought about the little green screen effect or something.
Yeah.
I'm kind of blending right in.
Yeah.
I want to see you do, and I know that you do hats. I want to see, and we talked a little bit about before the show, you're doing something with jerseys now.
Yeah. So one of the cool things about Project 2020 is that it introduced me to so many cool people. A lot of people that are really great at the things they do. So I was introduced to a company called Coolwick, and they make a lot of the jerseys and kind of uniforms for professional bowlers. And so it's kind of like this dry fit, material. And that was their niche. And I met them through kind of a collaboration I did in the bowling space. And they offered to create a storefront for me, basically. And it's awesome. So what the idea that we started with was we took all the different teams in both baseball and football and made inspired jerseys that are those team colors, except instead of the team name saying, Pittsburgh Steelers, it says "Stay Awesome," which is kind of my tagline. And then you can customize it. You can put your own name on the back. You can put your own number. So it's just a fun thing. And they're all print on demand. So it was a fun kind of side hustle business. Well, it's Coolwick's main business, but it's a fun thing to be able to offer to fans and do giveaways with.
Yeah, I saw you. You reminded me of something. Didn't you do a pair of bowling shoes for somebody?
Exactly.
And the guy won or something?
Yes. So his name is Jason Belmonte, and so Coolwick is his sponsor for his apparel, and that's how I met them, is through that painting those pairs of shoes. Let's see, Krista, give away any for my Wave 3 checklist for my set tomorrow. Sure, I can do that. Let me pull it up.
Are you allowed to? I don't want to.
It's not. It's the day before. It's not going to be a big deal.
Okay. I mean, I like breaking rules, but I don't want to.
Oh, let's see here. Oh man, that's going to be hard to find. Okay, sorry. It'll take me 1 second.
It's all right.
Okay, let's see here.
Blake, are you doing a live tonight, or what? Now, what days are you doing lives?
So today's Tuesday. No live tonight. I will be back tomorrow night. Monday, Wednesday, Friday nights.
Okay.
Currently. Okay, PNGs. Here we go. Wave 3. Here we go. Okay, let's see. Oh. Okay, I'm not going to tell him that one. Okay, we have Cody B. That's going to be great. Frank Thomas. I'm not going to tell you all of them. I'll just tell you a couple.
Okay.
Let's see. Now I'm going to keep that one.
Yeah, this is only hints, Chris.
Yeah. Scherzer. Max Scherzer. I know people are going to be excited about the Johnny Bench.
Johnny Bench.
Yeah, so that's good. And let's see here. I'll give you guys one more. Let's see here. No, I got to find the right one. Christian Yelich. That one's a really cool painting too. Yeah, so those are a couple of the teasers. It's fun where there's some overlap between Project 2020 and 1951, where I get to do my second Frank Thomas card, for example, my second Cal Ripken. Right. And some of those are also going to be in my Project 70 set. And so by the end of the year, you could have a set of like 3 Cal Ripken cards, for example. He's actually not one of the ones that I have all 3 of, but Mike Trout I will. So it'll be fun, like at the end of the year, to say, "Oh, I have all of Blake's cards, Mike Trout cards." Yeah,
I'm hoping one day. Let me. There's a couple. Thank you, Blake, and Brian. How long will you have the Topps project completed?
I'm gonna be working on them kind of throughout the year. I have 3 due at a time. Well, I get 3 assigned, and then they're due every 2 weeks. So like my first one, my due dates kick in on February 1st. I have a painting due. February 15th, painting due. March 1st, painting due. So I'm probably going to try and get all of 3 of those done by like February 1st. And then I'll have like kind of 6 weeks of chilling or, whatever. And then, so I don't know. I'll be doing them throughout the year. In short.
Now, are you allowed to, that's a question I have. That card that I saw that featured you, would you be able to make that into a print, or the Top says no?
Probably not. No.
Yeah. I mean, obviously you can make one for yourself.
Yeah.
If
I was gonna like put it on a T-shirt, I'd probably want to change it a little, just so there's no conflict there. Because again, like keeping Topps happy is really important to me.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
I think it's so unique, and people that know you and want just obviously support you. A personalized thing like that is just so cool.
Totally.
And for you, it's got to be something that to look back and say, "Wow, you made on a card and working with Topps." Imagine as a child, you never would imagine.
Yeah, no, it's a dream. That's why I said, man, living the dream.
Right.
Yeah.
All right, Blake, I appreciate you coming on for the hour. Why don't you tell us, you got something to plug, what's coming up this week? You talk about the cards tomorrow and what days because we talked a little bit before we went on live. You're not going live every day no more.
Right.
The people that are watching that want to check out his channel, why don't you tell them what days you're going live now?
Yeah, so I do lives on my channel Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 10:23 p.m. Eastern. Usually Mondays are Mail Mondays, and then Wednesdays are something creative, painting, and then Fridays are interviewing other artists. That's kind of the schedule I had for the last quarter of 2020, and that's something that I'm going to be trying to kind of stick to going forward.
And then, of course, the cards are rolling out tomorrow, the third week.
Yeah. Wave 3, 12 noon Eastern time, Topps.com. You go to Topps, and then you go to Cards and Collectibles, and then 1950 Topps.
Well, at the top of in the YouTube, I have it pinned. You
Great.
click on that link right there. You guys can go and purchase. And you know what? If you guys down the road, look, if anybody here is purchasing any of those cards and just want to send a picture, send it to mine or Blake's Instagram. We'll gladly share it. Like, hey, we got our set, and because I'm always looking for things to kind of stay relevant and fresh. To post like little things like that on Instagram. So that would be something great. And what I'll do is even if the winner, if down the road could post their picture with Blake's set, I'd appreciate it, because then I could share that out there. Make sure you guys let's go subscribe to Blake's a good guy. He I tell you, when I reached out to him during the summer, they got back to me within 2 or 3 days, and I said to him, watch my channel a little bit. I want to have you on in a couple weeks. I am a reseller, and one of the things that I try to do is stuff that I'm really strongly interested in, art, collecting cards, stuff that I, not just to bring Blake on just to chat, that I enjoy myself. So, Blake, I really appreciate you coming on again.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Yep, and I appreciate the giveaway. If you guys are watching, could give a thumbs up, and if you're new to my channel and Blake sent you here, if you can subscribe to the channel. I do these on average, usually about once a month. I am actually have talked to 2 or 3 other artists that are working with Topps. We had Eric on about a month ago. And tomorrow I am actually having Lucy, Reseller Mom, on at 5 o'clock. And she sells on Amazon just like me. And we're going to talk about tomorrow selling on Amazon. And if you're interested in how that works, that process, you can join me live tomorrow at 5 o'clock. So appreciate everyone that joined us tonight, and I appreciate the support.
Yeah. Thanks, Patties. Always
No
good.
problem. Thank you. And I'm going to make you a moderator, so I can have my first celebrity moderator.
Right on.
All right, guys. Thanks
All right.
again, and have a good night.